Okay, let's get to it. So let's focus primarily on the Pharah and Junkrat play since you're here.
Yeah.
And then we'll skip the Tracer and the Genji parts.
I've been playing Pharah and Junkrat since the game, or since I bought the game. Those are the first two heroes I mainly focused on.
Okay. My pen is a little bit thicker than usual. Have you played much Rialto?
Yeah, I love that map a lot.
Yeah?
Every time I get it, I love it.
So
It's
what
really
is it
fun
about
for-
Rialto that you like? Is it, a lot of people are comparing it like the second coming of King's Row. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. My favorite thing is I love playing Pharah on this map because you can fly over all the buildings, and there's a lot of flank potential. A lot of the maps that are straightforward are less fun because you can't flank and just destroy people in the back.
Yeah.
But this map you can do a lot of different flanks.
Oh, Arrow, did you finish your stream already? I was going to host you after I was done. Pardon, PvP. Did you already finish? I know you were reviewing Contenders today. I'm going to have to catch the VOD because I couldn't catch it live. You did? Ah, that's unfortunate. I hope your stream went well. If you guys don't know, Fuel Arrow in the chat right there, head coach for the Dallas Fuel, has been doing some VOD reviews on stream. So if you do kind of like the content that I do on here, you'll love Arrow's stream. So give him a follow if you are interested in that type of content. You won't see individual VOD reviews. At least I don't think Arrow would be doing individual VOD reviews like this. But for like Contenders level stuff, definitely give him a follow. Hey, Jayne, I'm trying to get my friend back into OW with less toxicity due to endorsement. He's mid-goal and I'm low diamond. Is it bad that I'm playing comp with him? It's going to make the games a tad unbalanced, and there's always going to be one person way higher and one person who's more or less dead weight. And the other, you got to think about it too. If the person belongs in 2200 and you're putting them into a 2600 average SR game, they're going to lose every matchup unless supported. It's just going to happen. So they may not enjoy queuing up. Okay. Back to you, PvP. Let's just play the VOD. Or sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I was also going to mention with this map, what I really like about it is that first phase I like to play Pharah a lot, and the second phase I like to play Genji, and then third phase Junkrat. So like maps where you can swap heroes depending on what you get is really fun. Like Lijiang Tower, I love that one too because there's a Pharah map, a Junkrat map, and a Genji map. Yeah.
What specifically about the map geometry makes you feel for each character makes them strong?
Well, for like this map, I like Pharah on first point because you can fly over the rooftops and get good flanks. On second phase, Pharah's not as good because there's a lot of hit skins. They'll thrive on second phase, especially near the bridge. So I like to go Genji because by then you can sometimes counter, or you can deflect grav, or you can get a lot of you can maintain high ground on the stairs on defense, or just Genji's a lot more viable up close fights. And on third phase, it's in close quarters inside a building, so Junkrat can get a lot of value with one-shot combos and stuff.
Okay.
So Riptire really quick.
I'll just tab over. Perfect. Okay. Well, let's play and see what comes of this VOD. Don't skip the Genji parts, please. I want to learn. We'll save the Genji parts for a dedicated review.
Rialto, this is the team composition.
4-stack and comp. What do you think about 4-stacking in comp? You're mostly a solo queue player, right? Actually, because I saw you playing with, who were you doing with recently?
I was playing with Samito FPS.
Samito, right.
One of the best ladder Hanzos, in my opinion.
Because he's reached rank 1, hasn't he?
Yeah, he reached rank 1 last season. He had top 10 on 2 accounts at one point.
Not falling for that trap. So what do you think is the optimal for climbing? Duoing, trio, 4-stack, 6-stack? It's definitely not 5-stack. I'll give you that one.
In lower ranks, I would probably recommend grouping up, because even if you lose, you could probably focus on improving, working together with your teammates. In higher ranks, probably solo queue, because sometimes matchmaking can really screw you over. But sometimes like 3-stacking is really good because you can have good synergy with your team. but you can get punished hard on matchmaking when you group up in high rank. But low ranks, I would recommend grouping up like at least 3 or 4 people.
And what do you consider low ranks in the first place?
Probably just below diamonds, like plat, gold, anything lower than that. Diamonds, you might want to be cautious about grouping up, like 4 stacking, because you might get put in master games. Sometimes, on those rare occasions, even GMs. And I feel like the skill gap might be an issue for grouping up.
Okay, just from having watched like the last 90 seconds of this VOD or so, is there any immediate things that you notice that he's doing really well or doing really poorly? What are the first things that are sticking out to you about this Pharah's playstyle?
I guess I should have focused up more on the game, but what I like about him, he's playing really low to the ground. I actually play more of a ground style Pharah because it makes it a lot easier for hitting direct rockets and 2-shotting or 3-shotting people. And the good thing about Pharah is that you have 2 mobility skills, so you can like play low to the ground, and if things get sketchy, you have 2 different ways of getting out. So I don't like to fly way up in the air because they can 80-80 spam and dodge your rockets a lot easier. It's harder to get value. So the number one thing I really like to tell people when you play Pharah is to know your counters and know how to play against your counters. So I think they have a Widow here, and nothing else. They do have a Soldier too. So what I like to normally do is to isolate one of the hit scans and take him out.
How so? How do you go about isolating them?
If they have double hit scan, I recommend flanking, or it's either you flank or you use your Ryan shield for your advantage, or like use corners of walls. And it's kind of hard to explain because if the Widow's really good, I recommend flanking and just stuffing their face and killing them, because if you just try and peek in and out of walls, they're going to headshot you immediately. In this situation, I don't know how good their hit scans are, but he has Barrage, so I'd probably just stick with the team and maybe wait for a combo. If he does want to flank Barrage, he needs to use both of his ability skills and get behind and try and kill at least 2 people with it, which will give his team an advantage. But
at least 2 people. You think so highly of people. I like, that's the goal that you got to go for, at least when you're aiming for the higher ranks and you're aiming to climb and whatnot. I just interrupt you for one moment. Cyber Broadcast, I did see the sub and I appreciate it, but I don't interrupt VOD reviews and whatnot to thank subs or donators. I usually do it after VOD reviews and whatnot, just to make them more, I suppose, condensed and without interruption when I do kind of upload them or people go back to rewatch them. So I appreciate the sub, but I try not to interrupt the actual VOD reviews. Sorry about that, PvP.
No worries. So one thing with Barrage is that if they have a Mercy, you either need to kill the Mercy or kill someone and the Mercy. Because if you solo Barrage someone and they get a free res, then you're just losing value. You're wasting your ult and you're not buying yourself your team in time or positioning. So they have a Widow and a Soldier. They end up just dying to Junkrat there. This is the sketchy phase because Widow has so much free sight here, and he already got poked by Soldier in his spawn, so I don't know if he has a Reinhardt, but if he does, he should literally just stay on the ground, walk behind the Reinhardt shield until he gets into a position that he can...
So literally play ground Pharah instead of tempting fate with the hit scans.
Walk. Yeah, just walk and try to get over to the buildings. What I normally like to do is get on the right side over by that staircase when I do get across the bridge and just figure out what I want to do. I could either poke them in the back over that mini wall on the back, or I can make my way hugging the wall with the windows and trying to get openings or direct impacts. As you can see across the way there, the Widow is right in the middle of the window. So if you can get yourself hugging that wall of the building, you can drop on him and 2-shot him. But it really depends on where their positioning is when you do get across the water. But for now, I would just sit behind Reinhardt's shield and walk behind the shield. Sorry if you hear background noise. I don't know.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's good. Thanks, Cyber.
So he does recognize that he needs to cross in a little bit safer spot, so he kind of like goes to the right, boosts himself across. And he saw that the Soldier was able to be punished there a little bit. I don't know if he noticed. I guess the Widow died after. I feel like he didn't need to barrage because the Soldier was by himself behind the whole team anyways. And the way that this map works, that Soldier probably would not have been able to get out. So he could have saved his barrage.
So just, fly closer to the door frame, spam into it,
Yeah.
hope that his team reacts to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard for the soldier to kill him unless he hits the helix rocket. But if I was him right there, I would tell my team, he's in a 4-stack, so they should have, decent communication with each other. I would tell his team that the soldier is vastly out of position and that you can punish him there. So he wouldn't need to use barrage to kill that soldier there.
Okay, so he played Genji and Tracer quickly and then swapped over to Junkrat here.
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah, because you had said specifically yourself that you like Pharah on first, you like Genji on second, and you like Junkrat on third. You explicitly said that at the start of this VOD review, and this guy's doing exactly that. So is this you?
No. It's really good that he recognizes that. It's really strong to whatever. I don't know if he's a projectile main, but it's really good that he recognized the strong suits of the heroes in mid-batch. He doesn't have to pick a hero and one-trick that hero in the game. He's using its strong suits to his advantage, which will help him climb.
So what are the first things you're noticing about this individual's Junkrat play?
He's playing really safe and secure. I do like to flank a lot and look for one-shot opportunities, but this is fine how he's playing. Throwing his mines into Matrix obviously isn't good. I usually like to focus Diva with my left clicks until they run out of Matrix completely. And the good thing with doing that too is that if you hit them with your mine, it's going to boop them away, which is going to make it harder for you to hit your left clicks. So you always want to abuse your left clicks while you can, because when they're far away, you're not going to be able to hit them. It's just too slow, and the projectile is too small now.
So at longer ranges, you're more relying on that concussion mine because of its area of effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also right here, the first thing I would do when his team starts pushing the cart and snowballing, I would push the spawn doors immediately, because Junkrat is extremely strong in just killing people when they come out of the spawn, because you have a trap, you can, one-shot combo people. You can deny people. On Eichenwald specifically, how there's those two on third phase, there's those two entrances.
Yep.
I can hold back 5 people in a door by myself, as long as they don't have a Diva to eat all my nades. Because even if they have a Reinhardt, you can kind of just let the Reinhardt walk by, and then you could shoot everyone behind the Reinhardt shield, or you can get a lot of value just spamming in through the doorways. So I wouldn't have sat on payload there if I was him.
And when you do, so you've left clicked a Diva until she ran out of defense matrix. Then are you looking to kind of popping because you can pop concussion mines just barely over the Reinhardt shield to knock him up. When you are kind of going against a Diva or something like that, are you looking to drop the concussion mine behind somebody, or are you looking to just throw it right in them and knock them back? Do you worry much about the knockback, or are you just primarily concerned about the damage at that point?
What I try to do with concussion mine is hit them and myself at the same time, because you're getting value in terms of damage, and you're also getting value in terms of booping yourself to safety. The number one thing people do wrong with Junkrat is they throw both their mines, and then they get stuck in a spot or a position where they're vulnerable and they're going to die. Your only defensive ability with Junkrat, I guess you can kind of say trap is kind of a defensive ability, but really your mines is your only way of staying alive. So if you use both your mines and you're in a bad spot, you're going to die. It's just you don't have mobility outside of that, so you gotta be really cautious about. This is why I say when you use your mine, use it on yourself and the enemy at the same time, because you can get the 120 damage value, and you can also boop yourself back to safety or a different position, and play flying Junkrat, which is always fun to do.
Okay, he's back onto Pharah now for defense of first point halfway through.
I love Pharah on this map, booping people off that first bridge. I missed the very beginning. Maybe he got shot by Widow.
No, he was on Hanzo at the very beginning. I skipped over it.
Okay.
I'm only looking at the parts of the VOD where it's Pharah and Junkrat. And my favorite thing about Pharah is all of these slanted rooftops. They're like jungle gym whenever I'm playing Pharah, because even when you're on the upslope, you can concussion mine yourself over them.
Yeah. One of the things you need to be worried about that though is that when you're gliding on the rooftop, you're not gaining
yes,
flight
if you
capacity.
are actually touching the rooftop, you don't recharge fuel.
But you can use that to dive targets, which I like to do.
And how you by dive targets? Explain that in a little bit more detail.
Let's say I don't know what their comp is. Let's just say there's an Ana that's healing the whole team, and the enemy team is focused on the payload and looking forward, and they're not really paying attention to you, you can like fly over the building, fly off the rooftop, and as you're falling on the Ana, hit her with a rocket, and then immediately afterwards, when you're right in her face, you hit her with another rocket. And most of the time, the Ana won't be able to react before they use Ana nades, so they'll just die. But even if you do fail, you'll have both your concussive blast to boop yourself to safety and your jump.
Now here, back just a little bit before this, he gets halted and he has both of his cooldowns available to him. Which cooldowns, if any, do you use to try and avoid getting wrecked by a halt?
He got halted?
I think he gets halted in about like 8 seconds here.
Oh, okay. I want to see what he does.
He has both of his cooldowns. There's the halt right here.
So you probably need to be cautious about using your jump, because sometimes, I don't really know how the interaction works, but sometimes it can just like pull you right back into the halt. I don't know if it can work afterwards, but normally I use concussive blast. It's just more reliable. I would, like in this situation, I would look bottom right, concussive blast, and go into the left alleyway.
So just kind of like avoid the headshots by looking away, looking down, and then concussion blast yourself back into the alley.
Yeah, because that you can zone out the Orisa, but there's also a Soldier 76 behind the Orisa shield, which you should know that.
Okay. Boop.
And that's exactly what he did. Yeah.
Very nice.
He also needed to chase that Moira orb, because he doesn't have... Wait, does he have a Mercy on his team? But he had 100 health right there, which is a mistake. There was no reason for him to jump into that Orisa or Bongo, knowing that he had 100 health, and there's also a McCree on the other team. The first thing he should have done was chase after that Moira orb that flew past him to get full health, and then look for the McCree, because that's the only thing on their entire team that can kill him, outside of a Genji doing Reddit plays on walls or a Roadhog getting a crazy hook. But if he can isolate that McCree, kill him, he'll be able to farm and kill everyone on their entire team.
Okay. Now, this play is looking pretty good for 3100, but his stats aren't really reflecting it. At least, we haven't seen the Genji play, we haven't seen the Tracer play or the Hanzo play, but his Pharah play seems pretty comfortable. He's got pretty good rocket accuracy, pretty good control of his cooldowns and whatnot. Are you seeing anything that would indicate that this guy is low diamond, assuming he's stuck here and not kind of like in the process of climbing?
Well, yeah, the couple things I mentioned before, like when he used Rocket Barrage when he shouldn't have used it, he didn't chase, he kind of just suicided into that Orisa shield. He didn't really, I don't know what he was thinking. Like, what I like to tell people a lot is the reason top 500 players are top 500 is because they kind of know what they're going to do before they do it, and they also try to know what the enemy is going to do before they do it. So if he was VOD reviewing himself right here, he should ask himself, why did he go after that Orisa shield, and why did he die there? Like, what was he doing wrong? What was he thinking when he did that? Was he thinking at all, or is he just kind of just like reacting to a Bongo and going after it or something? So I would say that it's kind of easy to distinct that he's not like crazy high rating, but I mean, his Pharah play, it seems it's getting there, getting there. He's got to improve on the game sense aspect, I think.
Okay.
So they're going to lose this point for sure. I wouldn't run out here. I would go out the right door. There's no reason for him to go out front door.
He does survive, though.
They're going to lose that point. Yeah, he did live with 16 health, luckily. So they can punish these people in here, which is great.
I hate it. Every time I compliment somebody for having good aim or something like good rocket accuracy, they immediately go to potato. It's just it's a reviewer's curse, I think. Nice reactionary conk to get out of the halt there.
Yeah.
Missed 2 rockets on that, 4 rockets on that Mercy, and decides to chase instead of retreating when it was a lost cause there. So a bit of bit tunnel visioning on targets instead of kind of like being aware of when you should disengage or keep fighting here. And the Junkrat swap on second going into third.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, they don't have I don't even think they have a Zarya, or what do they have? They have no Zarya, no Diva, so you can probably get a lot of value with Junkrat, build a lot of ult charge off that Roadhog. I like that he's going high ground with his team here. He could probably even drop down right here. Like, remember when I talked about how using concussion mine on your enemy and yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
What I like to do a lot with Junkrat is to walk behind and try to assassinate someone, because Junkrat has a one-shot combo. He can use
Which is the
nade
most frustrating thing.
Yeah, it's the nade mine combo. It does 240 damage immediately, and you can one-shot people. And while you're one-shotting people, you can boop yourself to safety because you can use your mine on them and yourself at the same time. So this is why I like to play. Whenever I see opportunity to do a flank with Junkrat, to one-shot someone, it's really good because you can win an entire team fight off killing one person and staying alive.
Killing the right person, too. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's also good is the other team has Orisa, and the one thing to note about Orisa is that people love to sit behind the shield. And when people sit behind the shield, Junkrat's like, ooh, ult charge, ooh, kills. If you can get the flank on them.
What do you think about using... He consistently uses both mines as kind of like a rollout, but here he used both mines to arrive at the fight, but now he has no mines. Is this something that you'd recommend? Is, get back to the fight faster, or arrive at the fight later, but with mines to spare?
I would use both mines, but it depends if his team actually has a chance of fighting this to win.
They don't
the
at the moment.
Yeah, they don't. So I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have maybe just used one and try to like get a potential kill or build ult charge for the next fight. But most likely what's going to happen here is going to use both mines, go into them, die, get bad spawn. The other team's going to be able to push halfway through this point uncontested all the way to the front door, and then they're probably going to use ults and then take the point.
And mistakes like this, where you're getting staggered, especially like between phases on a map, or especially like if your team was almost already regrouped, you went in to try and contest, fed, and died. That could put the rest of the 5 members of your team in danger as well, moving into third point.
Yeah. If I was stuck in this situation that he's in right now, I'd put a trap on that corner and just try and stay alive and build ult charge. But he made really awkward movements there, didn't use mine to get out, and ended up getting punished. They also use Brig armor there, so they're most likely not going to win this fight. Those people are going to stagger die.
Actually, are they?
Maybe.
I thought it was pretty
They
close.
did have Moira.
I think they
Yeah, they have
barely
Mercy
got
and
out because they had both Mercy and Moira there.
Yeah, they're not going to have any Rhine shield though. So they just lost their Mercy, which is like the most key here. Oh, that's a big
Huge shatter.
So we should definitely not use Riptire here because they have 2 picks. They don't need to. They're using Coalescence. So if I was him in the situation, I would look for a flank Riptire. I would tell my team to back up, let them have the cart, and I would hide in like a doorway or something, or somewhere random.
So like on the left side of this bridge, out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. Stop shooting to give your position away, let them take the cart and push in, and then Riptire from behind. Now, if your Riptire gets shot and destroyed there, aren't you kind of like woefully out of position?
Not really, because if he's like, for example, if he's holding in the left hallway, he could defend himself for a really long time because he's Junkrat and he has trap.
Because he's Junkrat.
Yeah,
I like
because
that.
he's Junkrat. And even if they do try to push him, they don't have Diva, so he can use double mine and get out, unless he gets like sniped by the McCree. But Mercy should most likely be able to heal him as his team is pushing up. And when he uses his Riptire, he should make sure that his team is pushing up as he calls it in. Like normally what I would do is like, all right guys, I'm using Tire, get ready to push. I'm using Tire now, push, like go. And it actually happened today. I killed 6 people with 1 Tire because I sat in a corner. I let them push in. They didn't even realize I was there. I used Tire and I blew it up immediately.
And you did it in GM, right? That was not on a Smurf or anything? You did it in a 4,300 game.
Yeah. Their Mercy used Valkyrie too, so it was like the most
huge
value Tire. Yeah.
Do you think that Tire is too powerful? Does Tire need a nerf?
No. I think it's in a good spot right now, to be honest. I was an advocate for slowing it down. I think it was way too fast where it was before. I think the reason Junkrat is kind of annoying to play right now is because double sniper is meta and they can kill your Tire really easily.
Yes,
but as
and
soon as
you, if you're caught in the open.
And as soon as double sniper is not really meta anymore, I think Junkrat will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the most annoying things about him right now is his nade size. It's actually really hard to hit people even when you're point blanking them. So I find it really frustrating because it's not like you're relying more on RNG than ever before because it's even harder to hit the nades and it moves so slow so you can't hit them far away. So it's kind of a struggle, but I don't know. It's Junkrat.
Fair enough. There was a Savage Void with 100 bits says, I won 7 games during placements, but lost 120 SR from where I ended last season. What caused this? Do you have any ideas? What would cause? Do you have any experience with placements, winning more games than you're losing, and dropping 120 SR off your finish?
I've never had that experience. I would just guess that maybe he didn't really perform well. I guess I'm not sure.
Yeah, nobody really knows how the placement system works, but most people suspect it's based off of performance. So winning games, even if you didn't contribute much during those games, maybe the system thinks you belong a little bit lower. Who knows? Who knows how placement works, honestly? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm tiring this.
Doing it pretty. This is before the opponent has even really started respawning,
Yeah.
right? That was
That was
really
a
early.
terrible Riptire.
And he dies to the McCree. So that was
Yeah.
probably the worst value you possibly could have gotten out of it.
And he went for Roadhog, and he's not going to kill Roadhog because Roadhog can use vape and not
You
die.
guys are even. No, you guys are up one.
So that was definitely really bad.
No rolls, no rolls.
I think one of the most important things that can separate good Junkrat from regular Junkrat is actually the Riptire. Is kind of sounds dumb, like Riptire, like skill what. There's like 5 different ways to use tire to get different values.
Do you ever
So-
do the thing where you kind of like pull Riptire and then just sit it in a corner just so the sound?
Yeah.
And what are the situations in where you just use the Riptire but you don't immediately go for kills? You kind of like wait out 8 or 9 seconds before trying to chase somebody down for a kill.
There's 2 different situations. One is when the game is about to go in overtime and the enemies they're forced to go to the payload. So what you can do is when there's like 5 seconds on the clock or 8 seconds, you can use your tire and run it into a wall for like 7 seconds or so, and the enemy is going to try to wait it out and then realize that they can't wait it out and they have to go to the payload, and then you get free kill on anyone or multiple people that are forced to go to the cart or point. Another time you can do it is whenever someone gets picked off in your team and you want to buy time for them to get back to your team, you can use tire and run into a wall for like 7 seconds and just try to like, you know, just get the other team to back up, not push, and buy your team time and maybe even potentially even get a pick. Yeah, it's a couple different ways I like to use tire
Okay.
in terms of holding it. He actually tire got mega nerfed.
Mega nerfed.
Yeah, mega nerfed. There was I think it was last patch or maybe the patch, but it was last patch. Riptire is really loud, right? Whenever you hear tire, you can hear where it's coming from.
Yep.
But actually, for 10 seasons, you could run it up against a wall and the enemy team couldn't hear it. It was quiet. It was like really silent. So what I would do is I would run the tire up against a wall, and they wouldn't know where it was coming from, and they would, you know, make it a lot easier to get kills. But they made it so you can hear it now. So that is kind of frustrating. Like, I mean, I guess it's better that way, but that was one of the ways that you could definitely get a kill. Would retire a lot easier and make it harder for the other team to know where it was coming from.
Fair enough. Question for you. Riptire. You pop Riptire. You see a Genji going for you who's going to kill you, but you have an opportunity to kill the enemy Mercy. Do you kill the Genji and survive, or trade with the Mercy?
I would probably trade with Mercy, but it depends on the situation, because if it might not kill the Mercy and the Genji kills you, then your team is going to be in a really bad spot. So I would say 9 times out of 10, just kill the Genji and get the value that you can get, because if you do go for the Mercy, then you die and you don't kill Mercy, then it's terrible. Even if you do kill Mercy, it might not make a difference because the Genji's going to kill you and then your team has a 5v5. But if you kill Genji, your team has a 6v5. So I would say kill Genji.
Okay.
Kill the Ryan, kill the Ryan. Ryan dead. Kill the Hop, kill the Hop.
Are there any other major mistakes you're noticing from this Junkrat player?
They got a Pharah now?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest, I've been kind of focused on answering your questions.
Fair
and
enough.
watching the gameplay
Fair
most of the
enough.
time.
Well, I'll just let you watch a little bit of this gameplay, you know, his positioning, how he's using his bank shots and whatnot. And let me know if anything
Yeah.
sticks out to you that you would improve or you would just play differently, even if you don't think it's a distinct error.
Behind, Reaper behind, where?
I do like that he's playing aggressive in front of the Reinhardt, holding inside too, because I think they have a Pharah on their team. Yeah, right there.
Pharah's one, Pharah's literally one.
And one mistake, definitely a mistake he just did right there, was he threw his mine. Their team was pushing up. He threw his last mine, so he had no mobility, and he ended up dying there. He should have just gone back and tried to regroup with his team, especially knowing that they had Pharah, or just try to hold himself out of position in that room for a little bit longer. Because if he's behind them, the other team can't just ignore him. He's Junkrat. He's going to shoot them in the back for free. and they're gonna have to either turn their shield or get their whole team to go after you. And if you can buy as much time or even potentially get picks in that building, then you can get value.
In what situations do you stay on as Junkrat versus a Pharah?
If I almost have Riptire, I will sometimes stay on. If I know their Pharah is not very good, I will sometimes stay on. If it's in a situation where you're inside a room like this, I could stay on Junkrat too, because Pharah might be pressured really hard. There's also, if you have a really good hit skin player on your team, you can stay on Junkrat, because you can reliably know that they're going to kill him. Like if I'm doing with Samito, FPS, I know that he's going to kill Pharahs on Hanzo, so I can play Junkrat and get value out of Junkrat. And another thing is, he loves Mercy Pocket, so if I play Pharah, I'm never going to get healed. So he's gonna. I just let him have the Mercy, and I'll play Junkrat.
Just have the Mercy. I'm gonna stick on Junk.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so I'll
that's
just play
funny.
Junkrat or Genji and let him have the Mercy Pocket. So.
Oh, okay.
Those overtime situation here.
Yeah.
He's back on the Pharah. I love going for boops on the Pharah here. It's really fun to do on the bridge. Some like side notes that you could do before the match starts is break all the railings. That's something I do every time on this map before the map starts. There's railings on the left side by the coast, and there's also railings on bridge.
And with those railings gone, it makes it easier to boot people in, eh?
Yeah, there's actually, the railings aren't broken over there, so if he would boop someone, they could potentially stay alive. See those broken railings and kind of on the left over there. Yeah, it's something like to note about Pharah's. Break all the railings because it makes it easier to boot people off the map. This is where I normally hold on Pharah too, because you can. What I usually do is I sit on the balcony behind him, and then when the timer hits like 2 seconds, I'll jump in the air and try and peek and see if they have Widow. Because Widow's the #1 thing to worry about when you're playing Pharah this far away. You don't have to worry about a McCree or a Soldier because they're not going to kill you. Like they might hit you.
Well,
and you
not
get
in
shot
this
down.
patch.
Yeah.
Not in this patch, but McCree, Soldier, and even May.
Yeah.
All
Pharah's
getting
gonna be
buffed.
a feels bad man.
Pharah's going to be a tad bit weaker in the new meta with the fall-off changes. But just a couple bit messages. First one being Rowan with 100 bits says, good to see my favorite W coach and streamer. Also, VOD reviews poggers. Indeed. Zuzan with the 200 bits says, Jayne, have you reviewed a McCree VOD at all? I don't remember having done one recently, but I do have one kind of in the queue. So soon, if I haven't done one recently. If not, and still have time after this one, can you review my McCree game? I am going to have to grab some food after this one. I got a sandwich up in the fridge to keep me going. Not sure if I'm going to do one more VOD review after this or might start placements on my Brigida account. Drank Water with 100 bits says, I have a question. I was playing in High Diamond Low Masters game as Tracer, and I was hard flanking the whole game, bringing both healers and a tank on me each fight. Since they put 3 on them, 3 on me, we won the team fight, but I would only kill maybe 1 of the 3 on me. So at the end of the game, I had very low stats, but every fight distracted half the team, and we won. Is this okay? Question to you, PvP.
That is 100% okay. I always tell people, don't look at stats. Stats don't matter. They're completely irrelevant. Even, like, I try to explain to people, too, because the actions that you make in game might force your team to get a win. Like, if you are playing Widow and you kill Mercy every single fight, but you're not really necessarily tagging other people to get the elims, then you might not have gold elims, but you're killing one of the most high priority targets in the entire game, helping your team win the game. So,
and if you have, say, 1,000 damage and 3 kills, then your damage per elim stat is lower, and you want to do as little damage per elimination as possible, because if you do like 10,000 damage and you get like 4 elims or something, then each elimination that you secured basically generated a support ultimate for the opposing team. So there are reasons why lower damage is good. There's reasons why lower elims are okay if you are kind of demanding a lot of resources out of the opponent. Like a Widowmaker who constantly has 2 or 3 people trying to shut her down and reduce her effectiveness. If that Widowmaker alone can stay alive, then a 1v3 and the Widowmaker staying alive makes the rest of the game a 5v3. So absolutely, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Canada scrims tonight? No. Okay. Let's keep watching. No Canada scrims this evening. It's Tuesday. The OWL guys are busy.
I don't know if I've noticed, but I haven't seen him do a rocket jump.
I haven't either.
Any time this game. For the people in chat that don't know what that is, if you look at the ground and shoot your rocket and hit your jump at the same time, you can get yourself to the skybox for free. I do like that he went for the boop there, but I don't think he needed to get that close to the water.
I
to
don't
do
normally
that.
use
just floated over.
the rocket jump unless I'm basically out of combat. Do you use it in combat?
Usually not, unless there's a Pharah on the other team.
And if there is a Pharah on the enemy team, how does that actually work out?
Well, if you're in a Pharah versus Pharah matchup, 2 rockets kills, unless you're doing splash damage.
Oh,
so even if you're at 100,
what I mean is that one of the things with Pharah is, and this is kind of one of the areas that I've actually disagreed with other people on, is that, for example, if I do use the rocket jump in order to gain altitude, there's more of a delay, and I can't use my my jump jet in order to like escape danger or drop down lower, 2-tap, and then use my jump jet to boost up away from the danger themselves. So, at what point do you not do your rocket jump? What's the lowest point on this map? I don't think the height box actually, or the skybox, is high enough.
If you're a mid fight, like literally in the middle of the fight, I wouldn't do rocket jump because you could either potentially kill yourself if you get hit by damage, or you could die on the way up. Also, like you just explained, in the Pharah versus Pharah matchup, using the jump is actually pretty good in combat. But if you are just about to be getting into the fight, then I would recommend doing it because having more flight capacity and being higher up can give you an advantage in the 1v1. And also, like
just to cut you off, sorry. Not only is this method powerful, but you also reach the skybox at max fuel, right? So just watch my fuel and how high I go. I even fucked it up. That wasn't optimal.
You only take 40 damage, and a Pharah rocket does 120, so it still takes 2 direct rockets to kill you in the Pharah versus Pharah matchup. So even if you're not getting healed by Mercy like immediately, you're still okay. Also, another thing to note in this most recent update is Pharah got a chain or a fix to her concussive blast. You can use it in spawn now. Nothing too
can
major,
she?
but it's
That's nice. In terms of actually using the concussion blast, do you prefer to look down or 180? Which do you prefer?
I like to 180.
You like to 180?
It's more fun. But
it's more fun.
Yeah, I don't know if looking down is more valuable or not. It's probably better, but I like the 180.
I've just kind of always used the look down. One of the other things that I like to do is, if I have barrage, one of the big benefits of having the look down, at least in my opinion, is that you can do that at the same time in order to give yourself a lot of movement, both forward and upward. So let's say if I wanted to barrage somebody on the high ground here, and I had both of my cooldowns, one of the things that I would do is that. So I would arrive at my location and then stop my momentum with my barrage immediately, kind of to surprise somebody on the high ground. You know, you can surprise people by dropping down silently, but in order to barrage from low to high, I do both of the cooldowns at the same time because it sends you a ridiculous speed at about a 45-degree angle forward. And it also looks really cool when you pull it off successfully.
I think one of the minor things that you could gain from doing a side blast is that you can get a little bit of information by looking right or left.
This is true.
But it wouldn't, most of the time it wouldn't really matter because you're probably using it like out of combat or something.
Okay, while we're in the practice range, are there any other techs that you can think of that you'd like to be demonstrated?
Shooting a rocket before your barrage is very important. I think a lot of Pharahs don't realize that.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
It's kind of like a animation cancel or whatever.
It is an animation cancel, yes.
Okay, it's instant, so it's free value. You shoot the rocket, you barrage immediately. That's basically what I'm trying to say. What else could I think about it?
Yeah, so just for the people who don't realize, it's just kind of like filling the rate of fire with a different animation. If your other abilities aren't locked by the rate of fire of your left click, you can normally cancel them with an ability. So look at my ammo, it's 6 right now. And then if you go to barrage, you can do this. And you probably didn't even see it, but my ammo is now at 5. So I added an extra rocket into my barrage. And if you are trying to like cut through a trance or something like that, that can be just enough. So there's really 0 point not to do that unless you used your last rocket already and just don't have one. Like you'd have to reload and the barrage isn't ready to go. Any other techs?
Yeah. I don't really know if I have any other techs. One thing I'd like to mention with just shooting rockets in general is don't be afraid to miss, because the splash damage can often give you enough value to kill someone in 3 rockets. I think sometimes people think Pharah, you have to hit all your direct rockets, but sometimes if you go for your directs, then you might completely miss, and your splash damage won't necessarily do enough damage to kill them with 3 rockets. So I usually like to guarantee that I kill with 3 rockets instead of trying to focus on 100% directing on 2.
Okay. Was that it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else.
Can you think of any
specific
Junkrat techs?
Junkrat.
Junkrat techs.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's like the one-shot combo. I guess that's like one of the most important things about his kit is doing the nade melee. That's kind of like the
nade
Pharah
melee.
rocket barrage. Or there's 2 things. There's nade mine and there's also nade melee. Nade melee is for Tracer. The Tracer has 150 health or Baby Diva. Nade does 120 damage and melee does 30. So that's a one-shot combo is nade melee or on either Diva or Tracer.
And to do the actual one-shot combo, it's left-click, concussion mine, right-click to trigger, right?
Yeah, so left-click, concussion mine, blow it up immediately.
That was too
Like,
fast. That was too far away.
Well, when I do it, well, yeah, you have to get used to the timing and the range. When I like to do it up close, it's immediate. If you're far away, obviously you let the mine travel a little bit. You never want to throw your mine first because it's gonna take time to shoot at both.
Because the mine also travels faster than the your normal grenades, right?
Yeah, mine travels faster, so you can time it to land at the same time. And also with Junkrat, another thing that you can kind of do when you're spamming is you can, as you're far away, you look up, and then as you're getting closer, you look down, because you can get your nades to land kind of...
Sorry, say this one again? This
together.
one sounds fascinating.
As you're like, if you're really far away and you're spamming targets,
Yeah.
you can like look up in the air and shoot nades, and then as you walk forward and move closer, you can keep aiming down, because your nades will kind of just hit closer together in terms of their damage.
Oh, so as you approach, just aim.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
like
okay, okay. I can see what you're saying. I thought you were doing some like crazy 900 IQ where you were trying to like
No.
one-shot people based on doing.
No.
It'd be like.
You can start like that. If you're really far away, you can actually start like that, like really high up in the air. But it just depends on how far away you are and if you're trying to like get the right damage. Because you can get them to like land at the same time. See how the one you shot second landed before the one you shot first. So if you can time it right, you can one-shot people immediately.
Sorry, I was just so
Did you
happy
get it?
that I actually pulled it off. But oh man, if you did that in a game against me, I would be so salty.
I mean, trust me, I get a lot of hate for being a Junkrat, man.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
sure
tell
you
that
do.
one.
Do you think that Junk is as low skill as people make him out to be?
I think the biggest misunderstanding that people realize is, okay, I'll put it to you this way.
Okay.
There was one person that finished top 500 that was a Junkrat main last season.
And it was you.
I don't want to brag, but it was me.
Yeah,
And the
I
reason-
don't want to brag.
The reason I say this is because Junkrat is a trash hero. He's very, very, very hard to play at top 500, especially in a sniper meta.
Okay.
He's very hard to play. What people think is, oh yeah, Junkrat spam 120 damage nades, skill, Omega lol, Riptire, Omega lol. But they're playing him in the most ideal situations like Temple of Anubis, where they sit behind an Orisa shield and shoot into an enemy Reinhardt. But if you're playing Junkrat in non-ideal situations, and you're also trying to play against really good players, what a lot of people do is they'll play Junkrat, and then as soon as it gets hard, they'll swap to something easier that they're good at, like Tracer, because it's reliable. Junkrat is not necessarily reliable, so you have to try and get as much value as you can using your skill and knowledge of the hero. And people really think that just because you can get value out of not being very good with him, it doesn't mean that he's a low skill hero. What I like to tell people...
What do you think is the more important factor on Junkrat? Mechanical skill or game sense?
Game sense, 100%.
Okay.
I think,
so what are in that case, what are the decisions that separate, you know, let's say a platinum Junkrat from a Masters Junkrat?
Typically, I would say positioning and when you're using your Riptires, because I think, like I said before, Riptire is one of the most important parts of his kit. Also, knowing how to, like, how your style should play, because, for example, you'll change your style mid-game depending on what your objective is.
What kind of styles are there? Give me an example of one of your Junkrat play styles. Do you have terms for them? It's just kind of like how you adjust.
There's like the flank style where you try and focus the backline or try and sneak behind like a Reaper and kill supports. There's also the standard style where you try and break Reinhardt's shield or you try and break Orisa's shield. Then there's also just zoning, like, you know, just controlling an area, like on King's Row defense, you're just controlling hotel. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Or the mini health pack is. Yeah, you're just controlling hotel, earning, like zoning people out. But like, you want to change your playstyle depending on what your objective is. If the other team has a Bastion and you need to kill the Bastion, you're going to focus the shield, right? But if the other team doesn't have a Bastion, but they have an Orisa, it might not always be good for you to shoot the Orisa shield because you might invest all your time and resources in breaking the Orisa shield, but if no one else on your team is shooting the shield, you're just going to plop another one down by the time you kill it. So you're not getting any value for yourself, you're not building any ult charge, you're not doing anything for your team, because the shield uptime is still going to match how much damage output that you have. So if you're going to focus on shield, you got to make sure you're doing it as a team, not just yourself. And another important thing to note is, like, if you are trying to break shield for Orisa, wait until she puts a new one down. Don't shoot the ones that
we
she
actually
currently
talked
has
about
down.
that exact thing earlier today. I think it was during our
especially if you're
Hanzo
playing
review.
Hanzo.
Yeah,
if
it was
you're playing-
during our Hanzo review. That's
Yeah.
exactly when we talked about it.
If you're playing Hanzo, don't use your Stormbow until they put their new shield down, because you're going to waste your ability and your burst damage on a shield that he's going to replace immediately after it gets low. So
Cool.
yeah, it's kind of the same with Junkrat. You can use your mines. And one thing with Junkrat is if you hit shield with your mine, it does 120 damage, regardless of how far away it is.
Say that one again?
Nerfed. If you hit a shield with Ryan, or if you hit a shield with your mine,
No fall
Like
off,
right.
always 120?
yeah, it's always 120, unless they fixed it or something. But the last I heard, it was 120 no matter what, how far away it was from the shield, or Reinhardt's shield or Orisa shield. Unless they fixed it.
That sounds like a bug.
I think it might be a bug, but that's what I was told. I never actually tested it, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So if I am trying to break an Orisa shield, I make sure I use both my mines with my cooldown or with my nades. So I'll use like my left.
Can you
clicks
jump into
on the
game?
shield.
I think we're on each other's friends list, right? Let's test
Yeah,
that.
I can jump in. Actually, I'm blinded. Go away.
Presets. Map testing. Okay. I do have you on my friends list, don't I? I do.
Yeah, yeah.
You use a 240 hertz monitor, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So you're the
240
perfect
hertz is
you're
great.
the perfect individual for this question. 60 hertz versus 144 versus 240 hertz. Is it a competitive advantage? And if so, how much so?
So what I recommend is if you are a casual, you know, you play comp every now and then, you don't really care too much, you just play comp to enjoy comp a little bit. It's 60 hertz is okay, that's fine, you know, if you don't want to spend the money. 60 hertz, very minimum you should get. If you do take the game seriously, you like playing it a lot, you know, you want to try and get better and climb ranks, I think at the very minimum you should get 144 hertz. At the very, very minimum, like 144 hertz is great. I think the next step up is like 180 or something. I think-
There's G-Syncs that have like 160, I think, but jump all the
Yeah,
way to 240. Because
I think you should
240s are
skip
like
that.
$700 and $800 too. They're expensive.
Well, I guess I could mention ViewSonic. I am sponsored by them, but that's the monitor that I use. Their monitor is currently $330 for a 240 hertz monitor.
That's
and
not
it's
bad.
great. So it's the one I use. 240 hertz. I used 144 for about. Well, I played on console for about a year, and I used 60 frames on that or something.
Mm-hmm.
I had that experience, and then I came to PC and I used 144, and it was great. It was a huge change, and now I'm using 240, and it's definitely noticeable and it's awesome. But if you don't want to spend the money, 144 hertz is perfectly fine. But I recommend if you do take the game very seriously, like maybe you want to play on a team, I think you should get 240 hertz just to, you know, get the best of the best.
I know OWL guys. When I was trying to do OWL tryouts, two of the OWL guys actually said that they couldn't try out because they didn't have 240 hertz monitors. I was like, really? But hey, they take it very seriously. So because the monitors on stage are 240, I think, in the OWL.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
240 is
two of
great.
the OWL guys, I just remember being like, "Hey, I can't do this day. I'll be at home and I don't have a 240 hertz monitor." I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
But
I walked to your spawn, by the way. I didn't even
did you not
realize.
see me?
No, I had to turn my audio off because it was so loud. So I
Oh,
didn't
that's
hear it.
funny. That's funny. Yeah, just come on back and swap to Junkrat.
Okay.
He said it was a ViewSonic monitor for ViewSonic for 330
Yeah.
or something like that.
ViewSonic, yeah, I use 240 hertz.
Can't wait to see
think
you
it's-
coaching Toronto's OWL team next year. You will be sadly disappointed. Sorry, my friend, that's not going to happen.
All right, let's see if they fix this, if it is a bug.
Okay, so
Alright, so
because
you
the
have full
mines
shield.
themselves, even if they don't hit anything, will still detonate, right? So let's start like right on. So detonate now. So 120. Okay, drop another mine. Yeah, that should be good distance away. Still 120. Okay, drop another one. Is that the fall off range, like there? Still 120. Nope, that had fall off.
Really?
Yeah. I
think
didn't even see how
maybe-
much. That was 107 damage.
I think that maybe because it hit the corner of your shield, so maybe it considered it missing a little bit.
Maybe. Launch another
So
mine?
try in the front.
I'll try it even farther away. Let's see if it's going to hit me from there. I think that's out of its range, though.
Well, I mean, like, turn, like, face toward it,
Okay.
and let it hit, like, the middle of your shield, but, like, be far away. Yeah, like that. So how much does this do?
120.
I think what it considered was,
again?
like,
Still 120.
that probably won't even hit.
That,
There.
sorry,
Did it hit?
how much was that? It was a weird number. It wasn't 120. Try it again. 97. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me recharge. Try again. 70. Okay,
Okay, I
first
guess
of
it
all,
does
the
have-
fall off distance on that mine is way larger than I thought it would.
That is really far, yeah. I didn't even think that was going to hit at all.
I didn't think that was going to hit at all. That's ridiculous.
If you drop your shield and walk forward a little bit, it probably
Try
won't even hit
It still hits. Okay.
you. What the hell?
What?
That is so
Can
far.
it won't even hit me though, will it?
No, there's no way.
Okay, do it again.
It's not even close. You'd have to be like 2 times closer than you
Yeah,
are
that's
now
what I
for it to
thought.
hit.
What the hell is going on with this interaction? Once more. What the fuck? What the fuck? What? What? Fuck junk. Okay.
You want to know one of the most annoying things?
Okay,
with Junkrat
hold on a second.
ever
Try it
was?
on the corner. Is it something to do with like the orientation of the shield? I think it's the orientation of the shield. Go now? Go now? It had... What about here?
It does different damage, right? If you're facing it.
It didn't even hit it when it was lateral like this. Do it again. That does no damage to my shield.
Wow. That's
Blizzard!
Junkrat in a nutshell. That's Junkrat in a nutshell.
Blizzard!
So one of the most annoying things that I had to deal with for a long time was Mercy, because Trap does 80 damage and mine does 120.
Yeah.
So that's a 200 damage combo, right? Well, Mercy had the self-heal damage bug to whenever she
Yes,
she would
yes.
walk
Because
into
Mercy
it,
got
she
one
wouldn't take
tick.
full damage.
Because
Yeah.
what the thing with
You live with
Mercy
4
was
health.
constantly regenning even when she was at full health, right? So,
Yeah, so
if
she
she
wouldn't die to
stepped
my
in a
trap combo.
trap, she would get one tick of her self-healing after she trapped. So it was like, wasn't it like 7 health per tick or something like that?
Yeah,
So
it'd be
she
like
would
they would
actually take like
change.
113 from the trap. Then her healing would pause for 1 second before starting. So even if you pulled off the perfect trap mine combo on Mercy, she survived with 7 HP. I remember
Yeah,
that.
They did fix it.
They did
but
fix that?
It was in the
Awesome.
game for 10 seasons. It was really annoying. And it's like things like that make the biggest difference because 4 health keeps the character alive.
And then
and you
regen
either have to go out of
starts
position
and-
to kill
yep.
her or
Yep.
you just don't kill her. So it was quite frustrating.
I think we actually legitimately found a bug though. That one did hit my the fuck? The fuck? Okay.
Is Junkrat inconsistency in a nutshell.
Junkrat's inconsistency.
Yep.
Oh man, walk forward into trap. Okay. I don't know what you expected to have happen.
Why did they want to walk in? Okay.
Congratulations, we got trapped.
I think another thing I could tell chat about is that with Riptire and armor, D.Va has 600 health and Riptire does 600 damage. But since D.Va has armor, it'll take away 5 damage from the Riptire, so
Yeah,
you can't actually
Junkrat can kill every character except like D.Va. What bullshit is this, right?
Yeah, so if you do hit D.Va with a Riptire, you need a melee immediately after if they're on you. Because they'll have 5 health if they're full health.
Any other strange bugs, interactions, texts you can think of?
Sometimes if you call Riptire facing us a wall to go through the wall.
Yes, that happened in a Overwatch League game, right? It was Agilities and who actually right-clicked it, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I never saw it. I lost a comp game because of it.
Yeah?
I used,
oh, that sucks.
It was overtime and I used Riptire and my Riptire went through the wall and it blew up to a D.Va bomb. And I was really upset.
There is actually one more tech that I want to show chat. And just, I don't think this. Did you ever go shooting a rocket at the enemy's feet and then? Yeah, I didn't actually go. Thanks for the reminder. Huh. I'll be back. That is not Pharah.
I will protect the innocent.
What else could I think of? You gotta be cautious about putting your traps on ledges, because if people hit them as they're falling off the ledge, they'll just fall out of the trap.
They'll fall out of the trap?
Yeah, they'll literally just, the trap won't work. You'll
Really?
hit them for the damage and they'll fall out of the trap.
I
It
didn't
happens
know that
with
was a thing.
Lucio's a lot.
I didn't know
And,
that was a thing. So yeah, just go stand over, like on the point here. So stand, I'm actually gonna drop a spray so we can test this. So stand right on that X. Okay, so a concussive blast to knock him back normally sends him that far. Now you spray beneath you. Or put a mine, that works too. But if you actually use the rocket and the concussive blast at the same time, because like watch the speed on their travel, rocket and concussive blast. Concussive blast travels faster. So if you rocket and then concussive blast, he goes way farther. Hydration does this, and he pulled off some pretty sweet kills with that. But yeah, if you are trying to ever go for a boop on somebody, go stand back on the X, see if I can't get it more accurate. Peace.
Actually, just learned that. I never knew that.
You never knew that? Well, there. I
something
taught
new every
PvP
day.
something. The next shot's going to kill you, isn't it?
No. Can you go get health back?
No. So yeah, getting the extra knockback. Because, like, so this time, PvP, I want you to start over here where I'm shooting, and then walk towards the X. And then keep walking towards the X. So remember that knockback is actually affected by the position or the direction that the player is walking in. So he got knocked back like 2 meters. What? Now walk towards the X from the other direction. Boom. He gets sent way far. So the idea behind the rocket and the concussion is that you get a little bit of knockback to change the direction initially, and then they get launched really far away.
You want to see something cool?
Yes, I do.
Try to boot me again.
Yeah. No. No. Okay, that worked.
I've actually used that tech before to survive. If a Winston is ulting you off the map, you can just use your Riptire on the...
I'm going to share
stop
a
yourself.
super secret pro tip. This is a good one. This is a real good one. Can you? Yeah, you can stay on Junkrat. Actually, go something with self-healing. Go something with self-healing. I'm going to share a really cool tip for Brigitte players. And everyone, as soon as they heard the word Brigitte, went, "Aw, Brigitte." But yeah. Hi, Surefour. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm not sure if Lucio will actually affect it or not. Anyway, so go stand on the spray there. And then what I want you to do is as soon as you get stunned, start pressing the W button. But as soon as you start moving again, just kind of like spray beneath you. So as soon as you are able to regain control, just start pressing W to basically stop the knockback. So as soon as the stun happens, start pressing W. So if you do stun one, boom, like that, that's where he's going to end up. But the thing is that the stun lasts for 1 second. So go back here. So if your goal is to go for knockback, you should stun immediately and then whip shot without putting in a left click, because they won't regain control and be able to move into the knockback before its effect has worn off. So if I stun and whip shot immediately, he goes
Holy
almost twice as far back because he can't regain control and hold W when the whip shot actually begins.
You can't counter momentum.
You can't counter the momentum with your own movement keys. So if you are trying to specifically go for knockback and not combo, whip shot immediately, so they go way farther. But if you are specifically going for the combo and the whip shot's going to be a finisher, then there's no problem. Boom, boom. Oh, Lucio does kind of like mess it up. You held back, or?
But, yeah, I held W.
Okay. Are you high enough health?
Yeah.
So if you are trying to actually deal damage and use it as a closer, like if they're discorded, you're damage boosted, or you know they took previous damage, like that. So there's kind of like the two different combos that you use on Brigitte, whether it's knockback or finishers.
What was that combo that you just did?
Just stun, left click, whip shot. And if you are trying to
okay.
kill a full health target, 1, 2, stun, 1. Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't full.
you aren't full health. But if you are trying to kill a perfectly full 200 HP hero, 1, 2, stun, 1, 2. And that'll kill them.
Yeah, that's one of the frustrating things about Brig, because most heroes have mobility on cooldown, but what I like about Hamster is that he has infinite mobility with his rolling thing. So
He has
some
infinite
people-
mobility, yeah.
Yeah, some people will say that Brig might counter him, which I don't think is necessarily true, because he can get away from the Brig stun pretty easily. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how the matchup fares.